Well, hello and good morning to the cockpit of the 1290cc, 1250cc, 1250, 1290? The bigger than 1200cc water-cooled, fuel-injected beefcake, American beefcake, the Pan America. Now, I know what you're thinking, and it's probably along the lines of, hang on, Ray, you've already done this. You've ridden this bike, you've given us some videos on it, and yeah, you're right. I did a review and a good in-depth discussion, deep dive, if you will, and then we took this bike and another one around the top of the South Island. But Harley-Davidson hit me up and said, hey, I'd like to give you another one. Can you do another video? And I said, I can't say no. We're in the middle of winter and this bike's got heated grips. There again, commuting on the Harley-Davidson Pan America. Now this is the Pan America Special, which means, among a couple of other wee fruity bits, it's got the automatic suspension. It drops when you come to a stop. Bike itself has rider modes up the yin-yang. It's got all the electrics. It's got a nice big clear TFT display, which I really like. It's got quite a comfortable seat. It's an adjustable seat, height adjustable. I've got it in the high setting now. I like the high setting. Although the low setting with the screen in high mode is quite protective. It's quite good. But I prefer the geometry of the bend of my knees with the high seat. I've managed to put the quad lock on the bars, so I've got my phone mounted to the bars, a little bit of vibration, so not the best angle, but oh well, what are you going to do? If I put it in the middle, then it's kind of in the way of the TFT. 1250cc, variable valve timing, traction control, cruise control, heated grips. Since you can see my speedo, I should probably slow down a touch. How's that? Yeah, nice. Interesting story about this bike, and I'm starting to wonder if it's a more widespread issue. It's not so much an issue, but it is an observation. So the first Pan America that I got to test, it arrived flat. It hadn't been put into transport mode, and so the alarm had been going off the whole way down on the trailer. It arrived to Wellington stone cold flat, had to be charged up. Okay, that was a mistake, that's fine. Matthew Day Gillett's one over at onthrottle.co.nz, pretty much whenever he wasn't riding it, had to be on the battery tender, otherwise it would go flat. I didn't have any problems with the second one that I got. However, this one, I picked up from the shop, perfectly fine, ran it round, 2 commutes into town, sat over the weekend, then Monday morning I go to get on it and it just doesn't want to start. And I was initially thinking it was like maybe a sensor, because it's quite high tech, this bike. You turn the ignition on, it comes to life, then you just push the button, you don't hold it, and it starts up on its own. But I went into MotoMart, and the kind people there lent me a battery charger, Harley-Davidson branded battery charger. And I put the bike on charge overnight last night, and it fired up this morning. So, you tell me Is that a coincidence? Is that a coincidence, or is that an actual thing? I'd like to believe it's a coincidence, but who knows? I think maybe these bikes are just very power hungry. I mean, the TFT display, you know, all those electrics and the electronic suspension and everything like that, it's got to go through all those checks before it'll let you start the bike. Probably going to suck up a fair amount of juice, right? Otherwise, I tell you what, it's a really comfortable bike. It's not what I would call an adventure bike. Yeah, you can have adventures on it, that's fine. Let's not debate the semantics of the term. It is an adventure tourer. And it's a really comfortable tourer. I would go all day on this, and I have. I've never really played with too much of the electrics in the TFT display on these bikes before, but I've played with it a bit this time, and I'm quite liking this technical readout on the screen. 14 volts. Engine is at 84 degrees Celsius. Outside temp 14 degrees Celsius. Range, I've got 112 kilometers with a fuel left on board. Trip A, trip B, front tire pressure, rear tire pressure. I like it. I've never had that all on before, but I like it this time. Maybe it's because I'm getting used to the bike and it's not such an assault of information. Pulls up pretty well. It's got pretty good brakes. Hey, here's a winter riding tip for you. Rainbows are bad. Check out that big oil slick. While I sit here and fog up. The heated grips are pretty good. I say it every time I'm riding a bike with cruise control. I love cruise control. It is my friend. Saw a buddy on a Pan America. Hey! Tell you what though, it's dry as it's been around here in a very long time. Did not expect to wake up and see blue sky this morning. We are right in the middle of winter, the southern hemisphere winter. And we've just had some of the wettest stuff. And in the high country, in the deep, deep south, some of the snowiest stuff this season. So I was definitely not going to turn up the opportunity to ride a bike with such good wind protection and heated grips. It's just a very, very well sorted bike. The screen up the front can be adjusted from the cockpit here. I've got buttons up the yin yang. I can connect to my phone with the Harley-Davidson app. And then I can control my music and everything over here as well. I haven't done that. I really should play with that. Tell you what though, having recently ridden the Ducati Multistrada V4S, which to me feels like a direct competitor to this bike, and that is such a more refined ride. It is a lovely, well-sorted bike. And this bike just feels a little more antiquated, a little rough and ready, a little rattly, a little agricultural in comparison. But this bike also feels luxurious compared to my Tenere 700, which technically is probably in a different class, really. It's more adventure than adventure touring. It's more go anywhere than comfort. And considering it was a hard decision between this bike or the Suzuki V-Strom 1050 XT, that we took around the top of the south, it probably says more about how good the Ducati Multistrada V4S is than how bad the Harley-Davidson Pan America is. Because this is a sorted bike. It's a great bike. I like it. It's got power up the yin-yang. I mean, I'm riding along in street mode at the moment. We've got sport mode, off-road A, off-road B, custom AB modes, rain. They all do what they say on the box. I find sport mode to be quite twitchy and bristly and, you know, on the ragged edge. Well, you wind it back to street mode, and it's just a nice place to be. A lot more smooth. I found the ergonomics of this bike to be pretty good. They tend to have their bars rolled back quite a bit from factory. I'd probably roll them forward a smidge if I was going, you know, anywhere gravelly. But for this commuting, it's the cruiser style bars, which are quite comfortable. Foot brake, rear brake feels really nice. No issues with the gear lever. The brake and clutch lever, yep, there's nice feedback through the front brake. I like that. And the clutch lever it's cabled, but it's still quite smooth and nice. Still not really a fan of the automatic self-cancelling indicators. They seem to cancel themselves when I don't want them to, and not cancel themselves when I do want them to. I don't have a problem with cancelling indicators myself, so that's, to me, an add-on to a bike that is unnecessary. But I get that it's a Harley thing as well, like it's quite a common thing on Harleys, so whatever. And I still think there are just too many buttons on the handlebars. I'm sure you don't need that many buttons. I don't use half the buttons on the right hand side. And I do use them on the left for going through the menu. But, I mean, to me, once the bike's set up, the bike's set up. If you were to own this bike, you wouldn't be changing the settings in your ride modes all the time. Actually, your custom modes, you set them, maybe a bit of fine tuning, and then you just got them. Maybe a better way would be to, like, use the Bluetooth module in the bike to do all the settings on your phone, and then do away with half the buttons, and then you hit a send button and it sends the settings to the bike, and then you go off riding. Just thoughts, just thinking, just putting that idea out into the universe to see if it sticks, and if it doesn't, feel free to throw it right back. There's definitely plenty to like about this bike. It's comfortable. It's got the power. It's got some good ergonomics. It's got some class-leading tech, especially in that active suspension. There's no one else doing that I know of. It's a cool bike. Have you ridden one yet? If you haven't, come on, sort it out. Oh, he's a wee buddy on a Triumph Trident 660 Lambs bike. You know what I like about this bike? I like that it feels like a big bike and it looks like a big bike, but when you get on it, the size melts away substantially. And you can do things like lane splitting in peak hour traffic on it. No dramas. Check this out. Now, this isn't the tightest commuting lane splitting I've ever done, but the bike has no problems doing it. And here we are, pretty much at my work. So thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. Let me know in the comments below, have you ridden one of these bikes? If you haven't, go and ride one. If you have, what do you reckon? Let me know. Love to hear from you in the comments. Otherwise, do check out MotoNZ.com. That's the website, the hub, where we put all the written and photos and a whole bunch more stuff. You can subscribe there as well, and we'll keep you up to date on the old mailing list. We're not going to spam you though, because I know what it's like, and I don't like getting that many emails. Otherwise, thanks once again for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Harley.